...2012 in Munich, 2013 in Amsterdam, 2019 in Baku, and 2025 in Wroclaw. Chelsea have completed the set. They have won the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League. They are the first team in history to do so. And honestly, there's nothing to say. And this comes after Chelsea beat Real Betis in Wroclaw for the UEFA Conference League final, 4-1. It was a one-sided game, especially in the second half. And listen, say what you want about Chelsea. They could be in crisis mode. They can be in God knows what mode. They can be terrible. Say what you want about Chelsea. One thing they do is put trophies in their cabinet. And they've done it again. So credit to Maresca, credit to Chelsea. It wasn't easy because this is a very young group and people tend to forget that. Even myself, sometimes when I watch Chelsea, I'm like, they haven't done this, they haven't done that. I criticize them and I say this and I say that. And sometimes I go, hold on, this is a very young squad. There's barely any leaders in that squad. The last leader that they had left, and that was Thiago Silva. You know, there's barely any players in there who you can look at and say, okay, he's been there, done that. He's been here, he's been around, he knows what to do, etc., etc. It was very tough, you know, but credit to Maresca, even though today there was a few mistakes that he made, but we'll get to that in a minute. Credit to Betis, though. Credit to Real Betis for getting to the final because this was a Real Betis side that people feared. For me, before this final, it was 50-50. For me, Chelsea could have won it, and they did, but Betis could have won it because Betis are coming off an incredible run in the Conference League, beating teams that people did not expect them to beat and playing in a way that people did not expect them to play. This was a team, no disrespect, but full of outcasts. This was a team full of outcasts, full of rejects. Again, no disrespect. Anthony, Isco, Bakambu is still kicking ball around. Who else? Bartra, Adrian, ex-Liverpool, Perrault. That's 6 to name you a few. You know, I think one of their centre-backs is from Napoli, if I'm not mistaken. So this was a squad assembled full of people that other clubs didn't want or full of people that used to ball back in the day. I looked at this team and I felt like playing FIFA 17 all over again because I'm like, hold on a minute. What's going on here? You know, I recognized some of these names and I went, hold on, I played with you on FIFA 17. But listen, credit to Real Betis, credit to Pellegrini. They qualified for Europe though, because they finished 6th, I believe, in La Liga, which guarantees them Europa League qualification for next season. So it's a step up. You know, it's a step up. They played conference this season. They're going to play Europa next season, and let's see how they do then. And the first half was actually in their favor. You know, the first half was in their favor. Two people I want to talk about. Ezalzouli, the left winger with the highlights in his hair, Moroccan young player, number 10, and Isco. Ezalzouli, credit to him because he played really well, took his goal really well, and we'll talk about that in a second. But for me, it was Isco. In that first half, I think nobody can disagree. Isco was running the show. 33-year-old Isco was running the show. Honestly, I don't even know how he saw Ezalzouli from where he was standing, because from where he was standing, I'm trying to put myself in Isco's position. He's got the ball on his right-hand side, and Ezalzouli is, because he was looking kind of down, innit? Ezalzouli's on his left. So how did he see him? Amazing assist. Ezalzouli, really, really good finish. You've got to understand, this was a difficult finish because the ball's coming from Ezalzouli's right-hand side, and he controls it with his right. The most logical thing would have been to let the ball go across his right foot and then stop it and kill it dead with his left foot and then take the shot. But he wanted it to be in one fluid motion. So he kind of touched it with a little bit of his right, set himself up for his left foot, and hit it clean. That was a really good finish, honestly. It's not easy at all. If you look back, it's not easy to get that type of finish, you know. But credit to Ezalzouli, that was a really good finish. And Real Betis go into halftime with a 1-0 lead. And Chelsea, they had a lot of possession. I think it was 60+% possession, but they didn't really do anything with it, in my opinion. Especially in the last third in midfield, a lot of that possession was from building out from the back, you know? So I don't really think they did anything with it, in my opinion, in my opinion. The front three was really flat. Palmer was nowhere to be seen as well. I mean, Palmer, to be fair, he was one of their better players in the first half because even Caicedo, who in my opinion is always one of Chelsea's best players, kind of, went missing. He actually gives the ball away for that goal that Betis scored. So I don't know if it was nerves. I don't know if it was, but Chelsea were a bit off it in the first half. Enzo Fernandez as well was off it. It was just a collective poor performance in the first half. Going forward, like I said, Jackson, Neto, Madueke, that was really poor from them three, But then again, sorry, before I go to Maresca, Malo Gusto, oh my God, he had an absolute nightmare of a first half because Edzal Zuli was spinning him like at will, Caicedo as well. There was one moment where Edzal Zuli spun him and Caicedo just slid and he was gone. Yeah, that was a first half to forget for Chelsea. And this is where now I'm going to come to Maresca. As much as I give him credit, why was he making life so difficult for himself? Like, you could have started or fielded a lineup with Colwill and Reece James in the starting lineup. I just don't understand where that thought came from to start Malo Gusto and to start Badiashile. Badiashile wasn't good. He wasn't good. That was, no. And Malo Gusto, like I said, he was just getting spun all over the place. So Malo Gusto gets subbed off at halftime and Badiashile gets subbed off in the 61st, which again took too long. That change should have happened at halftime, in my opinion. It should have happened at halftime. But then Chelsea in the second half, different animal. Different animal. And I was trying to save the best for last, but I've got to talk about him straight away. Cole Palmer looked at that first half performance from Isco and he was like, yeah? Okay. Second half, it's my time. Cole Palmer absolutely ran the show in the second half, getting 2 assists. The first one, sublime ball into the box. Enzo Fernandez crashes late into the box, perfect run, times it perfectly. The header, immaculate. Doesn't head it too hard, just guides it into the back of the net. Chelsea are back in the game, 1-1. The second assist that Cole Palmer gets, Jesus Christ, even more beautiful. That's just poetic. That is literally Cole Palmer personified. That is Cole Palmer personified on the right-hand side. And that little spin move that he did kind of reminded me of Jeremy Doku because Jeremy Doku does that all the time. Cole Palmer does that, crosses it in, perfectly weighted cross into the box. With his right foot, please, weaker foot. Please, I want people to remember that. Weaker foot. Lovely cross. Jackson, I don't know if he got his head to it or his shoulder or his chest, whatever. Anyway, the ball ends up in the back of the net. Chelsea are up 2-1. Amazing, amazing performance from Cole Palmer. And something else I want to mention about Cole Palmer. I see a trend going on there. When he was at Man City, UEFA Super Cup 2023 against Sevilla, scores. I think it was the 63rd minute, if I'm not wrong. Community Shield with Man City, scores. Euros final with England, scores. And now, Conference League final with Chelsea, 2 assists. I see a trend going on there. I see a player that turns up in finals. And ultimately, that's all people are going to remember. The final, Betis, Chelsea won. Cole Palmer had an amazing performance. That is what people are going to remember about this guy. And this is what it's all about. Big players turning up in big games. Big players, making sure they don't hide. Amazing, amazing performance from Cole Palmer. And then the icing on the cake, another outcast. And I forgot to mention Anthony as an outcast in Betis' team. Maybe I did mention him, but anyway. Jadon Sancho comes on. And something that he gets criticized for a lot, which is he slows the game down too much. Well, look at what that gave him today. Look at what that brought to the team today. Slowing the game down sometimes doesn't always mean he doesn't want to take on his man. He doesn't want to, because always taking on your man for the sake of it and trying to go past him and then nothing comes after that, no end product, doesn't really help you. But when Jadon Sancho chose his moments, and you've got to look at the moments when he came on. I don't know if he got the assist for Caicedo as well. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, he comes on, slows the game down, is involved in the chances creation, is involved for his goal, by the way. He still has a lot to do, by the way, for that goal. Receives the pass, which was a bit of a strange pass from Dewsbury Hall. Shifts it to his right foot, cuts inside, sees the little gap, bang, wraps it. Lovely finish, 3-1. The chance that Jackson completely messed up, by the way, that was horrible. He's going to look back at this and go, shh. And this is why, by the way, Chelsea should buy a real number 9. I'm just putting it out there. Sancho, involved again. If Jackson keeps his composure and just squares it, Sancho could leave this final with a brace. We're talking about a Sancho having a brace in a European final. Honestly, man, that Chelsea performance in the second half was way better. Way better. Caicedo, icing on the cake, gets the goal as well. What a performance from Chelsea. Now, if you ask me, this is a successful Chelsea season. Top 5 secured, Champions League football secured, and a trophy, a European trophy along the way. And I don't know what that means for Brentford. I don't know what that means for them, but I think we might have 10 English players, or 10 English teams, I should say, in Europe next season because of Chelsea's win. So honestly, that was a really solid performance. Anthony, I wanted to talk about Anthony because a lot of people obviously praised him, and rightfully so. Multiple things can be true. He was absolutely outstanding on the way to the final. But in that second half, he went missing. Sorry. The only time I saw him come alive was when he had that little fight that was going on with Enzo Fernandez at one point. That was a half to forget, and it was disappointing to see. And I put it down to the physicality. I think the physicality of Chelsea, Betis were overwhelmed by it. It was too much for them. It was too much, and they couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle the physicality of the Premier League. And this is something that Anthony did struggle with. You know, he did struggle with that in the Premier League. So I think ultimately, not just him, but the whole team struggled with the physicality and the way Chelsea were physically just dominant, especially in that midfield. Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez. It was just too much for them. Cole Palmer, not so much the physicality, but the way he was, drifting from that right-hand half space into the centre of midfield, dropping in crosses, being everywhere. They were struggling with that in the second half. So I'd put it down to that. And listen, Maresca's won his bet. Maresca won his bet. There's no reason for Chelsea now to not go for primary transfer targets. The targets that Chelsea should bring into the club should be top tier targets. I'm talking, people that everybody wants to sign. With all due respect, I'm seeing that Chelsea are closing in on Liam Delap. That's not the type of striker that Chelsea should sign. That's not the caliber of striker that Chelsea should sign. They should be looking at the likes of Gyökeres. They should be looking at the likes of Osimhen. People are talking about wages and whatnot. You're Chelsea Football Club. You always employ, the way I know Chelsea as a United fan, they always employ the best of the best. Always. So respectfully, I don't know why they're closing in on people like Liam Delap. Again, no disrespect. But Chelsea should be bringing in the crème de la crème. They should be bringing in the best of the best. They should be in for people like Rodrigo. There's rumours that he might leave Real Madrid. They should be bidding for somebody like Rodrigo. Listen, you're going to live in London. You're going to be playing for Chelsea. You're going to be playing Champions League football. These are the type of things that they should be going to clubs with or to players with to convince them to come to the club. It would really be, as a neutral football fan, really disappointing to see Chelsea go in for medium targets. Do you get where I'm coming from? It would be really, really sad to see that, because the way I know Chelsea, they always go for the best of the best. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section below, people. That was a very enjoyable final. We move on to the next final. We've seen the Europa League one. Didn't work out so well for us. Seen the Conference League final and the big one on Saturday. Champions League final. I'm looking forward to this one. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned on my channel. If you made it till the end of this video, go ahead in the comment section and type in Cole Palmer Show. There we go. Cole Palmer Show. Anyway, people, that was it for me. Like, share, comment, subscribe. It's road to 20K. We're nearly there. And we're going to get there slowly but surely. I'm out. Peace.